Good morning, children. I hope you have seen the previous videos, right, children, of the president chapter. And in the last video, I have explained about the presidential vacancy, how the president vacancy fall vacant, right? That means in different conditions, his post fall vacant, right? In case of death, in case of resignation, right, children. Then I have explained you about the disputes regarding the election of the president of India, and who can solve the dispute regarding the election of the president of India is the chief, obviously is the Supreme Court, children. And then I already explained you in the previous video in whose presence does the president takes an oath, in the presence of Chief Justice of India, children. I hope so people have listened to the previous video attentively, right, children. So again, this video is in continuation of the previous video, and I'm going to discuss about different powers related to the president of India. I mean, how many powers he can enjoy, and with the help of all these powers he can prove his domination over the constitution, obviously not over the constitution, basically you can say over the parliament, right, children. Though domination over the parliament lies with solely with the prime minister and his council of ministers, right, but president is also not less than him. Let's see, I'm going to explain you about how the president is not less than the PM, and what are the powers which is enjoyed by the president of India, right, children. So let's start now. Now here the power and function. The very first power, executive power. Children, always remember, in the executive power means the officials, right, or the member of the parliament which are appointed by the president of India. Executive, always remember, children, executives implement, those who implement the laws. So here presidential executive power means the president appoints different members of the parliament as well as the members from outside itself, or you would rather say the officials, those who are at high and dignified post, children, right. So don't get confused. Executive power means the law which is being implemented by the members, and those members which are being appointed by the president of India. So let's see how many members are being appointed by the president of India and what are their category, what are their posts, children. Let's see now. The very first of all, he can appoint the head of the union executive. Basically he himself is the head of the union executive, children, right. So let's see now, let's start now. Formation of the council of ministers. Duty of the PM to communicate to the president all decision of the council of ministers, children. Though he help in forming council of ministers, right, with the help of PM, though PM has a sole right to form the council of ministers in Lok Sabha, but whatever he does, whatever the PM does with the council of ministry, he has to inform to the president of India, right. And in recommendation they both have to select the council of ministers in the Lok Sabha. Next, the president appoint the attorney general, the comptroller attorney general, children. Everyone knows what the attorney generals, those who can present the cases on behalf of the parliament, children. Attorney general, the highest post of the judge, children. Here the comptroller and auditor general of India. Auditor, those who can audit the parliamentary accounts, children. Those who are called auditor general of India. And which account they can audit? They can audit the parliamentary accounts, children. Next, he can appoint the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. Then he can appoint the governors. Then he can appoint the members of the Finance Commission. Finance Commission, children, the commission which look after the the finance minister. The commission which look after the finances of the country, children, the budget of the country. So the members of these Finance Commission are being appointed by the President of India, children. Now, more executive power. The Union Public Service Commission, UPSC, children, where you can see that Indian administrative services, right, Indian foreign services are there under this UPSC, right, under this commission. So all these commission work, the head of these commissions are being appointed by the President of India. Then the Chief Election Commissioner, he appoints the Chief Election Commissioner, children. We have already did in class 9 when we have studied the election chapter, children. Here the Chief Election Commissioner is being appointed by the President of India, children, and other member of election commissioner as well. Then administration of the union territory, he can administer the union territories of India, children. Then he can control the state government during the president's rule. President's rule, when state is not being working properly, children, and here governors need the advice of the president in the state formation, in the state government, right, children. So at that time the president interfere in the state, right, children. It means president rule, that means failure of constitutional machinery of the state. I'm going to explain in depth in the present in the upcoming video, children. So here who can interfere? right? Who can implement the emergency? So, or you would rather say the president rule? It is the president, right? Then the military power, the next part which we are doing now, which are going to start with the military power. So I hope so people have understood about the executive power, children. Executive power, don't get confused, the official which are appointed by the president of India. And here are different officials like judges, comptroller general, auditor general of India, the attorney general of India, right? The election commissioners, all these highest officials are being appointed by the president of India. Now the next power which you're going to see here, the military power. Now military power says what? The president is the supreme commander of all the defense forces of India, like all three forces of India. He is a supreme commander, right children? Clear? So be it army, right? Be it navy, right children? All these three forces, children, and the commander of all these three forces is the president of India. Then the president has a power to declare war and peace, and with which country they are at war, or maybe the chances are there keep it leads to more chaos, confusion. It leads to more worsening of conditions, the worsening of the war, or maybe the peace treaties being broken by both the countries. So at that time, who can declare the war and peace, right? It is the president. He is the president of India. Then another power, the third power, which you're going to start with, the legislative power, children. So over here, don't get confused. In this video, I'm trying to explain you about the powers of the president of India. The very first power which I have explained is the executive power. Executive power means the officials which he has, which is which he can appoint. Right there, I have already given you the examples. Then I have started with the military power. In the military power, he is the supreme commander of all the three forces of India, children. We have explained. Now I'm going to start with legislative power of the president of India. So here in this power, I'm going to explain you how president makes law, right children? So don't get confused. There are different powers, and under these different powers, here the president shows his dominance, right? So let's see now. The power to summon and prorogue parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha, children. Here, children, here Sabha, it's sub-written, it's Sabha, children. So here the president can have the power to summon and prorogue the parliament. Summon means address. Prorogue means ending of the session. If he want, he can end the session, be it winter session or be it budget session, children. So that means he has the power to summon and prorogue the parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha, children. Dissolve the Lok Sabha, children. How the Lok Sabha is dissolved, I've already explained you in the previous videos when I have did the parliament, children. How the Lok Sabha is dissolved? Lok Sabha is dissolved when no confidence motion is being passed against the PM by the opposition party, children. Then at that time, the PM, it means to say that the PM has to leave the house now, because no confidence motion is passed by the opposition party with 2/3 majority, and the whole party, these opposition party, goes against, and they have proved their majority with two-third of the total member of the house, children. So the moment no confidence motion is passed against the PM and his council, they have to leave the house. That means the whole house is dissolved now. The next fresh elections may take place. So at the time of dissolution, who gives the permission to dissolve the house after the completion of this process? He is the president, children. This permission of dissolution of the house is being given by the president of India. Then if you see, the president over here nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha and nominate 2 Anglo-Indian community to the Lok Sabha, children. If you see 12 members to the Rajya Sabha, 12 members I've already explained you in the chapter Parliament, children. So here the 12 members belongs to different fields, right? Be it the field of social sciences, be it the field of art, research fields, different members is being appointed is being nominated by the president to the Rajya Sabha. Here, don't get confused. They have not fought the elections, children. Here, they have not, covered crossed the normal stage of election. No, they are being actually nominated by the president. Why? Because they have, contributed a lot to the services of India. They give services to India, right? Be it the social service, be it the art, be it the cinema, children, right? The famous example, if you call it as honorable this member of Rajya Sabha, Rekha, right children? Then if you see, then the two Anglo-Indian community to the Lok Sabha, and then again president nominate two Anglo community in the Lok Sabha and 12 members he nominates in the Rajya Sabha. Two Anglo community, if they are not adequately represented in the Lok Sabha, then only president nominate two Anglo-Indian community. Then the president addresses the house assembled together at the first session after each general election and at the commencement of first session each year, children. So here the president addressed the house assembled together at the first session after each general election, children. Right, children? So here the president addressed the house, after each general election, children. Right, and after each general elections they address the house. And the next condition, children, at the commencement of the first session each year. So here at that time the president addressed the house under two conditions. The very first condition was what children, after general election and at the commencement of first session each year. First session means be it budget session, be it monsoon session. So under these two conditions the president addresses the house. So this is also the legislative power of the president of India. Now next, the president may address either house at the joint sitting anytime, and he may also address both the houses, be it Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, right, in the joint sitting. If you want, he can call the joint sitting at the time of deadlock, children. If suppose both the houses are not agreeing on a common bill, right, children, then at that time the meeting can be called by the president. The more legislative power, children, the president may give assent to the bill or may refuse assent. Children, just one thing, make sure one thing over here. The president may refuse. Assent means permission if it is not a money bill. Money bill, president cannot refuse to sign, right? He has to sign then and there, right? But he can refuse the ordinary bill. Ordinary bill, it is a non-money bill, children, right? The president can also send it back for reconsideration if it is not a money bill, and if he didn't want to sign, he can send it back for reconsideration. Sorry, children. Then money bill cannot be introduced except on the recommendation of the president. Obviously, money bill can only be introduced with the recommendation of the president of India, children. Here the president of India gives a recommendation, and then only the money bill the birth of the money bill takes place in Lok Sabha, children. So the recommendation of issuing the money bill, of introducing the money bill in the Lok Sabha is being given by the president of India. So such power is being given to the president of India, though he cannot say no in the time of signatures, children, but at the time of birth of money bill in the Lok Sabha, who gives the recommendation? He is the president, children. Then next, a bill for the formation of new states or alteration of areas of the existing state cannot be introduced except on his recommendation, children. Here, if suppose some bill is being introduced, bill is sort of a proposal, children. I've already explained you in the chapter parliament. So here, if they wanted to form a new state, and if they wanted to increase the area, so this way it means to say that they wanted to make changes in the parliament. It means to say that, children, they wanted to make changes in the parliament by forming new areas, right, by introducing a new state. So such type of a bill, this has to be proposed in either house of the parliament, children. So who gives the permission, who gives the recommendation to all these bills, right? He is the president of India. He gives the recommendation to all these bills, children. These are called constitutional bills. Constitution means the bills which can bring changes in the constitution. So who gives the recommendation? He is the president of India, children. So here are the legislative power of the children. Now more legislative power, children. Then again, next power to promulgate ordinance, children. Promulgate, power to present the ordinance, children. Now what is an ordinance? Ordinance is a direction or a command of an authoritative in nature. It has the same force and effect as an act of parliament, children. Now try to understand, children. Ordinance is an order of an authoritative nature, children. If we suppose it is a temporary measure, if suppose president wants to make the law into an act, it has to be discussed in the parliament. You know this procedure, no? First, any law which needs to be an act, it has to be discussed in the parliament, right? But suppose some time condition may arises that parliament may not sit, right, children? So at that time, in the absence of the parliament, the president has the sole right to issue an ordinance. It is the same effect as an act of parliament. Ordinance, issued ordinance basically change the law into act, children, right? Though the law is being discussed in the parliament, this is the process, but the time may come when the parliament may not sit just because of some emergency. So at that time, the president can issue the ordinance, the order of an authoritative nature, and make that law into an act, right children, and it can be promulgated at the time when both the houses are not in session. The condition for promulgating or presenting the ordinance is that key they have to, it is only be issued when both the houses are not in session, when the parliament may not sit, then only the ordinance may be issued. Otherwise the whole work of the ordinance can be, can be done by the parliament alone. Then there is no need of issuing the ordinance by the president, children. So the condition is that when both the houses of the parliament are not in session, then only the ordinance be issued. Right children, then if the parliament disapprove the ordinance is lapsed. Now before issuing the ordinance, president needs to take the permission from the parliament, right children, and if parliament has not approved it, then it lapses, it cancels then and there, before issuing of the ordinances, president needs to take the permission of the parliament, children. And for how long the ordinance can be there, children? The ordinance can be there, automatically ceases to operate at the expiration of 6 weeks from the reassembly of the parliament. The ordinance can be there for 6 weeks, children. Don't get confused. The ordinance can be there for 6 weeks, and money bill is there for 14 days, right? And an ordinary bill can be there for 6 months, children, for discussion. So these are the different time period which can be there with both the bills and plus the ordinance, children. Next, legislative power now. Ordinance is regarded as a temporary measure. Bill passed by the state legislature may be reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president. Now, children, here are some bills, right, which needs to be, passed by the state parliament. But now somehow governor, at that time, governor is the head of the state, children, and he really wants the consideration, the approval of the president regarding the bill, regarding the state bill. Then at that time, he can take the permission of the president regarding the state bills, children. Next, the president can refuse assent to a bill reserved for his consideration, and if president doesn't want that, he can refuse to give the permission. Assent means permission. Then a bill affecting the power of the high court must always be reserved for the consideration of the president. Now bill, always be reserved for the consideration. That means the bill affecting the power of the high court, whose permission is required, that really affect the power of the high court, it's the permission of the president. So this way we have reached to the end of the video, children. So I hope so after reading, after listening to all these power, be it executive power, be it military power, be it legislative power, you can be sure now कि here, yes, president also do have the power over all these things, be it children, be it a bill or be it state bills, children, or be it an ordinary bill. The president have the power. He can refuse an assent, he can refuse to sign the ordinary bill if it is not a money bill. Why? Because money bill, the sole supremacy lies with Lok Sabha, and president cannot say no, children. I have already explained you in the previous video where we did parliament. So I hope so people have understood about all the three powers, children, be it executive, military and legislative powers, children. So just listen to all these videos carefully, we'll get everything, children. Till then, thank you.